Yes, please tell me about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, hi Vipin. My full name is Priyanshu Goswami, and I'm basically from Ayodhya city, working as a software developer with Amdocs Pune for past 3.9 years, and I'm having total 5.9 years of experience total in IT. Prior to Amdocs, I was part of TCS, where I worked for SBI as a client, and currently I'm working with AT&T as a client in Amdocs. So I have this working experience in both telecom and banking domain. My core competencies on technical side include core Java, Spring Boot, web services, REST APIs, web services, code fusion in databases. I have experience in MySQL, Oracle. For versioning, I use Git, and for build tools, I use Maven. The current project, yeah.
Okay. So, first, I will ask two questions related to programming.
Okay.
Have a basic questions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, basic questions. Just you read out these two questions. I am explaining you. Just go on the chat.
Yeah.
So these questions is related to just carefully you read and give the answer. The class is a public simple test, static in test, boolean final method. Here I am just pre-increment, post-increment test plus plus
Yes.
return true. Okay, and thereafter I am writing public static void main, and
Uh-huh.
here I am just initializing test is equal to 0. If final method this is have added in one curly braces as a single or and
Uh-huh.
close and double or just this is the logical operator and this is the or operator double related final. So here I am just this condition is going true, then again I am putting test post increment and system out dot println test.
Okay.
So, so you read what exactly you find here, it will work. If work, so what output will you will get, and if fail, so what things will happen, the root
True.
cause of fail.
True. False. So first test is 0, and if final will be called, the value of test will be 0. It will be incremented by 1 and return true. Okay, it will always return true only. Final 1, 1, then the rest more true, true, false,
No,
false.
first you give the answer. This code will compile or not?
It will compile.
How?
Just a minute. Okay, in the class is simple test, and that we have integer test static variable,
Hmm.
then method, boolean. Okay, so we are calling this final method, and the final is neither static and we are calling directly without an object. Inside that is possible. Inside the class it is possible. So that is also fine. PSVM test is already defined in the class. It is an instance variable.
This uh, this would give Priyanshu compilation error. I given the hint, but why it will give the compilation error? Just to give the answer.
Test equal to 0. Static int test equal to 0. Final, we are calling final.
You can identify.
False. Oh no, I don't.
Please let me know. Can be without initialized variable value of any
Yeah.
primitive data type can be apply the incremental case? It is possible or not?
Uh, but the like test is zero here over here, no?
So zero, you aware about the compiler case, how it is compiled class vertical to
Yeah, it goes vertical only.
down means
Down,
L.
up and down, yeah.
Yeah, up
Up.
and down. So how do you see it? Automatically jump in the main method and check this test is equal to zero.
No. So
So
we should define here only static int test and some default value over
here
here.
can be defined the default value. Default value. If
Hmm.
you assign default value zero, in that scenario it will compile
Yeah.
because of you doesn't have initialize any kind of variables, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
this you got the exact area.
Yeah.
So because of that things I want to know from you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just okay, no problem. You give the another answer, another questions. Just I'm just asking because of I'm asking two questions. That's why because of one question, if you have not given answer, so you give the another question answer.
Okay.
We have 8 minutes for these two questions. This is the mandatory actually from our for our requirement.
Okay.
Just 1 minute. You see, I'm just testing you. Oh, just one moment. Oh, I think this is not correct, right? Just one
Yeah.
moment. You see this.
Yeah. It's visible.
So here we have written one class as a cluster and child class node 1 extend cluster next class node 2 extend cluster. Here I am writing this is the child classes, right? And
Mhm.
both child classes extend to cluster class parent class. Okay, so
Hmm.
here public another class I am writing public class test f. Here I am defining public static void method main method and cluster class tree is equal to new node 1. Okay, new node 1.
Yeah.
And here I am checking which class will print if tree instance of node 1 it will print node 1, else if tree instance of cluster it will print cluster, else if it tree instance of node 2 so it will print node 2, if not match any condition then it will print unexpected. So what output you will get if you run and compile this class?
So here we are creating an object of a cluster tree. Cluster is parent class, I guess. Just
Yeah,
okay. Cluster is parent class and the trees object, and we're creating an object of node one. Okay. So tree instance of node one. Yes, it is node one. We can tree instance of node one true whichever is. We are storing in clean person by written. It will print clean instance of node one.
node 1.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Because this is in Java, this concept is known as upcasting, and we are creating object of node one, but we are storing in the container object of the parent class. But the object which is being created, it is of node one only.
Okay, okay, right. So now moving in the next question, just one moment, just I'm coming with the theoretical part.
Okay.
Uh, So you aware about any version control tool?
Yeah, Git.
Git. And what kind of methodology you follow for project development?
Maybe currently we are following a iterative model only.
No, 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 no. Agile or Scrum. What kind of things you know?
Yeah,
You know about the Agile and Scrum?
yeah, I have an idea, but we are not following it.
Okay, 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 no problem. Um, you aware about AWS?
Yes, I'm aware about AWS and Azure, but I don't have experience in cloud.
Cloud. You worked on, but suppose you have deployment process. So how do you deploy in the development
Yeah, so
setup?
we are actually working on on-prem environment. So we have on-prem servers, and the deployment process is done manually.
Manually.
Yeah, it is not on cloud. So we are still on on-prem servers.
Okay, okay. Means that is the banking application. That's why bank is not taking any cloud server, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. If suppose you have choice to work on AWS, so you can do that.
Yeah, I have done certifications on cloud, so
Hmm.
I'm willing to work on it because it is the future. I mean, it is currently being used and it is the future.
Okay, great, great, great. And next question, you aware about microservices?
Yeah, I know.
So what is microservices?
So basically, if we have very large applications which is built in a monolithic architecture, then the maintenance and like if there are some development in that particular whole application, it will be a very hefty task to perform. So the process in which we divide our big application into several services known as microservices, in which each microservices is responsible for a specific functionality, and those microservices interact with each other to perform a common task that is known as a microservices architecture. It makes the task easier for the developer to like code and in deployment process, and also the maintenance is easier. Scaling etc. is also easier.
So easier. You told me about benefits, right?
Yeah.
And what is disadvantage?
Disadvantages of microservices are that uh, there can be an overhead to like develop different microservices. If there is a smaller application, then creating several microservices, that can be an overhead to the developer.
Okay. And next question, you know about optional keyword in Java 8.
Yes.
Yeah, please
So
tell me.
yeah, so optional keyword was introduced in Java 8 to handle null pointer exceptions. So, for example, if we are having like we are having checking for some validation, and that object sometimes it might have the value as null, and when if we are performing some operation, it might throw null pointer exception. So, using optional class, we can use the methods
Okay,
like is present.
okay. Got it. What is difference between map and flat map?
Yes, so the basic difference between map and flat map is the map will contain a key value pairs, and in flat map it is kind of flattening the map. So we will always get a single stream of strings, like a single stream only. In flat map, after we flatten in map, we might have several streams.
Okay. So intermediate operations in Java 8. Can you give the example of intermediate operations?
Yeah.
Method name.
Yeah, filter is an intermediate operation.
Hmm.
Map is also sorted is also an intermediate operation. So
Hmm.
those operations which you kind of make perform operation on collections are called intermediate operations. And after we apply terminal operations, so it will result in output. But intermediate operation will always result into a stream only in other
Okay,
results.
next question. This is related to terminal operation. Can you give the example of terminal operations?
The most used is collect. In collect, like if we use collect terminal operation, we can collect in any type of collection we do want, like collect to list, to link list, like that. Or
Okay.
some.
So, just I want ask few question related to Spring Boot. Okay. So, what annotations are used in create a interceptor?
Interceptor.
Create an interceptor.
I haven't done that, so I don't have an idea.
You aware about at the red component?
Yeah.
So, what is this?
So if we want to tell the Spring container that this particular class is a component, then we annotate it as a at the rate component annotation. It is a generic annotation.
Okay.
Stereotype.
What are the profiles in Spring Boot? Profiles.
So yeah, so profiles whenever we develop any application, we will be testing it on different environments. So like we will have stage in production. So instead of having different projects for the same, we'll be having in application dot properties. We will have a keyword as a profile in which we'll be defining that profile, and like if the profile is dev, then it will refer to the dev application dot property, or if it is
Okay, sufficient. What is difference between Spring and Spring Boot?
Yeah, so Spring and Spring Boot both are the frameworks of Java, but Spring Boot is an extension to Spring. So prior to Spring Boot, when we were using Spring, so we had to do several, as a developer, we had to do several things manually, like having dependencies in place was done by developer, and we had dispatcher, servlet, etc. That in which we have to define beans, etc. But in Spring Boot, all that is managed by the Spring container itself, and the overhead from the developer is reduced. Also, we have embedded servers in Spring Boot, in which makes the task for the developer very easy because it creates a production ready application while using Spring Boot. So that's the thing.
Okay. So you aware about the Hibernate?
Yes.
So what are fetching strategy? Which strategy you do Hibernate support? You aware about the fetch strategy?
In Hibernate, I know that Hibernate is a ORM framework
So
used.
what are main element? Okay, no problem.
Uh,
What are the main element of Hibernate framework?
um,
Element means just as a core interface of Hibernate framework.
uh, I don't have idea.
So you have not touched this Hibernate, right?
In very old legacy applications, there were some queries written in Hibernate. So if there were
No, so
some
just
changes,
I will ask, what is session factory?
yeah, session factory in Hibernate, it is a class which we used in order to create the session object, and we have I guess I'm actually in the beginning of my career I worked in some projects where Hibernate was used, so I don't remember exactly. But in session factory we can use,
Okay, leave it.
yeah,
So you aware about JPA,
yeah.
how it is work?
So JPA in Spring Boot, we have this dependency of JPA, starter JPA, which we include in the pam.xml, and after that we can use JPA. So we have this at the rate repository annotation, which will interact with basically the database, and we have predefined methods like find by ID, find all, etc., which is handled by the JPA internally to get the data from the database.
Okay. So I'm just asking few questions related to database. What are usage of view? Why we are using view in database? If
Uh, yeah, so for example, if we have some table, but some requirement is there, if we are not, we don't need some extra columns, or there is some requirement in which we want the columns from two or more tables. So instead of creating a new table, we can directly create a view. So that view we can access at the time of like whenever we need it. So instead of making new tables as per the requirement, the view can be created.
Okay. So, how much experience you have? 5 year, right?
Yeah.
5 year. Okay. 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 So, next question. So, View, suppose I give one scenario. Suppose we have a one transactional table.
Huh.
Okay, so some data is coming from the various sources. Okay,
Yeah.
so that table how I can protect, but we want to get that operational data. Parallelly, we want to use select or some other query we are trying to fire. Okay,
Yeah.
so suppose if something is going to deadlock or occur in these situations, okay, so what will happen? What can we go with the view or any other mechanism?
Actually, I didn't understand the question.
Question, okay, I will explain again. Suppose you have a one transactional table, okay? Some transactional table means data is coming frequently. But that table's data I want to utilize in different sources. Different sources means I want to access through the API some other systems. Okay, through other systems. Some cases
So we are reading the data or we are writing also.
yeah, using data in different sources.
Okay.
So how do we can we utilize view for this case?
So view can be in view read is only possible. Write is not possible, so it can be used.
Okay, okay. So you suppose I want to improve the performance of tables. So have a transactional table. Okay.
Okay.
So what scenario you can apply so improve the tables performance? You have some any scenario?
Yeah, we can use indexes for that purpose. So
Any other?
index apart from indexes, performance. I actually currently I can think of index only to improve the performance.
And other just like you can divide in segment or some other just actually some other manner like that. Suppose data have a 1 million 2 million data in that scenario, indexing you do that. So suppose indexing and everything is fine and thereafter it is going to performance slow, so what I that's why I'm asking for the second scenario. What second scenario you can follow to improve it? No idea.
We can use caching, maybe
Sorry, caching.
cache caching in our application so that
Caching basically because of first one times data process will take time, right?
yeah,
Caching only happen if you performing the read operation, so it will take from the cache.
yeah,
But if I have any insertion deletion process is going on, so in that cases cannot
no,
use this cache. Okay,
yeah.
so here will go the physically in the
Huh.
database table. Hmm. Okay, no problem. Okay, but you know about so much things about that. So I have done. So your name is
Priyanshu,
Priyanshu. Okay. Priyansh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just explore it much more for another round. Okay.
Mhm.
So I will forward you for the next round. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Vipin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bye. Have a nice day.
Okay. Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah.